Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are pulling the thread on a really profound shift in corporate strategy, this idea of quiet relocation.
Right.
For decades, if a major company made a move, it was a huge headline event. Ribbon cuttings, massive press campaigns.
That whole era of corporate fanfare is, well, it's evolving.
Yeah.
And our source material really shows us why. Companies are now finding immense success by strategically and discreetly relocating agile teams.
Often to Southeast Asia.
Exactly. And our mission today is to really analyze Kuala Lumpur, or KL, as the prime example of this, and see how businesses are capitalizing on these advantages without all the disruption and drama.
So if you're planning a corporate move or you're just curious about modern business logistics, the central question for us has to be this. What are the critical, often overlooked details from, say, office space to living arrangements that ensure a team actually thrives and doesn't just, survive?
It's all about reducing friction, right? Both internal and external. We'll start by unpacking the financial allure of KL, then we'll define what this quiet relocation thing actually means, and finally drill down into the logistics, especially finding comfortable extended stay solutions for employees. That part is crucial.
Okay, let's unpack that. When we look at KL, it's clearly not just a beautiful city. This is a cold, hard, strategic business decision. What makes it the go-to spot right now?
It really comes down to the data. The core advantage is cost effectiveness. The overall cost of doing business in KL is just significantly lower than in Western hubs or even regional rivals like Singapore.
And it's not a small difference.
Not at all. The savings are transformative.
And the numbers we have here are pretty staggering.
They are. I mean, just consider office space. Average rent in KL might hover between, what, $2.50 to $4 per square foot a month.
Okay.
Now compare that to a major city like New York, where you could easily be paying $8 to $12 or even more. That's a huge operating expense gap from day one.
And that cost efficiency, it must carry over to talent as well.
It does. A junior developer salary in KL might be in the range of $20,000 to $35,000 annually.
Right.
In NYC, that same role could easily command $70,000 to $90,000. It's a powerful incentive.
So that differential gives companies a massive cushion. They can either bank the savings or
reinvest it. More commonly, they reinvest those funds immediately into, expansion, better tech, or hiring more specialized staff. But KL offers more than just budget relief.
Such as?
Well, infrastructure and location.
Yeah.
KL has a really robust foundation, solid internet, good transportation. And geographically, it's in a superb spot within Southeast Asia.
Making it easier to connect to other regional markets.
Exactly. Highly accessible.
But I have to ask, anytime we talk about cost differences this dramatic, is this sustainable? Is this window closing, or can companies count on this for the medium term?
That is the critical question.
Right.
Yeah, and the sources suggest, yes, it's sustainable. And that's because KL has a very deep and consistent talent pool. The workforce, particularly in IT, finance, customer service, it's highly skilled. And crucially, for international companies, many graduates are proficient in English, which removes a major collaboration barrier. It's a compelling, stable package.
Okay, let's shift from the why to the how. What exactly is this quiet relocation thing? It sounds a little secretive, but it's really just smart management.
It's strategy, distilled.
Yeah.
Quiet relocation is simply shifting a small team or an operational unit without a big disruptive public announcement. It's streamlined, it's low-key, and it's hyper-focused.
So why do that? Why avoid the PR?
It's psychological and operational. The number one reason is minimizing drama and anxiety. When a big move is announced, it creates uncertainty for everyone.
For the people moving and the people staying behind.
Right. A quiet move lets you manage those concerns personally and directly with just the team involved.
That makes sense for the team that's moving. But here's the tension point I see. If you manage this poorly, that subtlety could breed resentment, couldn't it? If the teams left behind feel uninformed, doesn't that risk creating division in the company culture?
That is absolutely the highest risk. And it's why transparency, even in a quiet move, is non-negotiable. The goal is to minimize upheaval, not to be secretive. Leadership has to communicate the why, the strategic rationale.
So everyone understands how it benefits the whole company.
Exactly. If the teams left behind feel like they were just dumped, the cultural damage can far outweigh any financial savings.
Right. The cost of a damaged culture is always higher than the cost of rent. So let's assume the move is executed well. The team is in KL. The whole goal is speed and stability, so the setup has to be almost instant.
Absolutely. The focus immediately shifts to productivity, and that starts with the workspace. You need a focus-oriented environment. Distractions kill deep work. So that means private offices or quiet zones, comfortable chairs, good lighting, the basics.
And you don't have time for a full office customization, so you're looking at furnished and flexible solutions.
They're critical. Furnished offices are ready to go. They let the team hit the ground running immediately. And KL has excellent flexible options, rent by the day, week, or month.
So teams can scale up or down without getting locked into a long-term lease.
Exactly. They avoid those restrictive commitments they might outgrow in 6 months.
And when picking that space, besides the obvious things like location, what's the must-have?
Non-negotiable, reliable, high-speed internet, and professional meeting rooms. The choice has to prioritize flexibility and cost so it can adapt as the team grows.
Now, onto tools. We're talking agile teams here, not massive departments. Why do simple tools like Notion or Slack become so important in this specific context?
It's all about low-friction onboarding and minimal IT overhead. The last thing you want is for your IT team back home to have to manage complex infrastructure for a small remote branch.
Simplicity reduces vulnerability.
Precisely. Tools like Notion, Slack, Google Workspace, they're cloud native. They require basically no internal support beyond the login. It just keeps the technology invisible so it supports the work without getting in the way.
Okay, we've got the office, we've got the tools. Let's talk about the human element. It's so easy for management to get focused on logistics and miss the subtle signs of burnout. This brings us back to quiet quitting.
And relocation stress is a huge accelerant for quiet quitting.
Right.
We know what it is doing the bare minimum. Showing up, doing tasks, but with zero passion. They've mentally checked out.
And that can stall momentum instantly.
It does, especially when a team is already dealing with the anxiety of a new country and a new office. The stress just multiplies if they feel unsupported.
So what are the vital retention strategies for, say, the first 90 days?
First, clear, honest communication about their future. You have to replace uncertainty with clear growth opportunities. And second, you have to prioritize work-life balance. Employees need time to adjust, to find their bearings. If they feel like the company owns them 24/7, burnout is inevitable.
And that leads directly to the most personal decision, where they live. Housing impacts everything, their commute, their mental health, their productivity.
It is, without question, the most critical component of the human factor. For corporate teams, the sources really emphasize two options, but the first one is the true enabler of the quiet strategy: service departments.
Okay, explain that. Why are service departments a game changer over, say, a regular hotel?
They eliminate the bureaucracy of arrival. A service department with its full furnishing, a kitchenette, cleaning services, it's ideal for those first few weeks or months. It gives people more space and independence than a hotel. It's a soft landing.
So they bridge that incredibly stressful gap between arriving and finding a long-term place.
Exactly, it's a critical bridge. When companies use these kinds of extended stay solutions, they remove massive hurdles. The employee isn't spending their first 2 weeks figuring out utilities or buying furniture. They're settled, comfortable, and they can be productive from day one.
And even if the move is permanent and they eventually need a long-term lease, the selection factor is the same.
It is. Employee comfort is non-negotiable because it directly impacts productivity. So you look for proximity to the office, neighborhood amenities like groceries and healthcare and safety, and a welcome pack with high-speed internet ready to go. Those little things make a huge difference.
So let's synthesize this. The relocation is successful, the team is housed, they're working. How do you make sure this new momentum is sustainable 6 months down the line?
It all depends on routines and, maybe more importantly, feedback loops. On the daily side, you need structure. Short, regular stand-ups, maybe 15 minutes, to stay aligned. And then agreed-upon focus hours where non-urgent chats are discouraged.
You're protecting their deep work time.
You have to. And beyond the daily stuff, you need those strategic check-ins. Monthly reviews to talk about the process, what's working, what tools are failing, what's causing frustration. This continuous feedback is critical for alignment.
And I imagine those routines and tools have to be designed to adapt as the team grows.
They must be flexible. The setup for 5 people won't work for 15. Management has to be ready to scale up their office space or shift to more robust software. You have to stay agile with your logistics, too.
So we've seen that Kuala Lumpur offers clear financial and talent advantages for companies. But success with quiet relocation hinges entirely on getting the logistical details right, focused workspaces, simple tech, and critically comfortable, high-quality housing solutions for the team from day one.
The real lesson here is that in this age of rapid corporate shifts, often the most impactful moves are the quietest ones. They aren't trying to make a splash. They're prioritizing internal stability, employee comfort, and focused environments over those grand gestures.
And this leaves us with a provocative thought for you to consider. We've just talked about how quiet quitting can stall a team's potential. We know employee happiness is tied directly to their comfort in housing. So if a company saves money on rent in KL but fails to prioritize seamless, high-quality corporate housing, what is the true, hidden, long-term cost of that decision? Something for you to mull over.